Dear students, in our last tutorial we discussed negative slicing on this list, some of the methods on the list. Also we discussed few problems, how to traverse through the list in order to solve those problems. The today's class will discuss lists and strings. So what is the relation between the list and string? Already we know lists are mutable, strings are immutable. Now, both are sequence of characters. String is a sequence of character, list sequence of values, where the values can be of any data type. That's what talks on this. To convert a string to a list, how we can convert it? String is a sequence of characters that we can able to split it into a list. So this is an example how we can do it. Spam is a string. So using the list function, by passing s as an argument, we can convert that into a list. This is a string list of strings. So what are the different methods work on a string? We already discussed various methods to work on a string. Right now we just discuss different methods on a string is, if it is a sentence, we can split that sentence based on a delimiter. What is the delimiter we are going to provide there? Using a split method, and also we can join the list to make a sentence. That we'll discuss an example how we can do it. This is a message I've just created. This is a string. So now using a split, we can split this. So before that, we'll just see how we can convert this into a list using list method. So list is the function. By passing this message as a parameter, so before this we just print this. Normally, since it is in Jupyter Notebook, I need not to type all this. Even if I just type a message, it just prints. Okay. So message, normally it just prints a message. Now we are converting that string into a list. It just splits into an characters. It does not split it as an words, word by word. Just split everything as an list. Suppose if this was not so big sentence, if it is just only string, then we could just print it. Simple. It looks, we just split it into a list of string. Yeah, this split method. So if we are using a split function, I'll just store this in a variable m. Split. This is a method. What is the limiter? This is the method on the string split. Since I'm not specified anything, it just splitted with a space. Oh, sorry, we have not executed this. That's why we just get only one word and execute it. Sorry. Yes. We splitted this word based on the space. If we provide something as a delimiter, based on that it splits the word. We can also ask the user to provide delimiter. What to be a delimiter? So you can ask the user to input, enter the delimiter. If the user enters, based on that you can work it. So delimiter here, suppose I say A is my delimiter, then I provide that delimiter. split the message based on A. Wherever it finds A, it makes it separate words. Now we can join these. Now we have split it. We know what is this yum is. Yum is a list of string. If this is a list of string, I need to get back the message. So how I can do it? I can use a join method. So for that, I'll just make it constructed one. So this is the duplicate. I just named it. What is the delimiter I join? Let me join with an space. I just make this words as it is. So instead I'll just add star as a delimiter. So what I do is, let me give it delimiter is a star. With the star you add it. The join method, I'll store it in the variable copy or join. What's that? Is a delimiter. Delimit. Okay. And then I print this code. Oh, sorry, what to do here? It's supposed to be a list. So the list was yum. So the list was yum, it just joined with that A because I've given here delimit star, but here I've used delimiter. Delimiter here is an A. So that is why it just made this. Okay, there is no work on this. If we just change this, then we'll get this effect with star. This is how it worked with a delimiter. So these are the two methods. The very important thing on the join method. See, all the methods so far, whatever we discussed, the object dot, the method name and the parameter. But only the join method. The parameter what we need dot, the method and object to be within a bracket. This you should remember. The unique characters of the join method. It need not to be that we'll read it and then we provide it. We can just provide the delimiter here directly, either with a single quote or with a double quote we can specify. I'll just write back yay. This is what the result we get it. Delimiter dot, like the method, the delimiter which we need to add it to join the words, dot the method, and yum is the object which we need to join it. So this is what the relations on the list and the strings talks with. In the previous session we discussed with a problem where we create a list and we did it. So here instead of writing an empty brackets, we could also write list. It works similar. So here also if you want, we can just give the same inputs 23, 4, 67. We can work with. So this list function or the set of square brackets creates an empty list. So discuss on parsing the lines. So we are more interested in lines in order to get some interest part in the line. So here is an example. We want to print out the day of the week from those lines which starts with from. You know how to access the line if it starts with from. Use and starts with function we can pass from as a parameter, so it just gets extract all those lines which starts with from. And also we know the split method, we can split based on the spaces, so we split this. So when we are splitting this, the name of the week is a third element in the list. So 0th index, first index and the second index of these lines of this format data, we get the name of the week. This is how we can able to write a program. This we are using a function file where the data is inside the file. Open the file in a read mode. Since we have not given a mode, it is obviously in a read mode. So once you open, extract every line by line, just strip. What is the use of strip? Remove the white spaces in the line. Since it is R strip, remove the white spaces in the rear end of the line. And checks if the line does not starts with from, we are not interested in those lines, skip the below statements, continue the for loop, get the next lines. If the line starts with from, then we need to split it, access the second index element where we get the days of the week. So the next topic is objects and values. In the very beginning classes, we discussed what is a variable, how to declare a variable, how it works. So we just have a quick glance of the almost similar type of thing, but on the list. If we execute these assignment statements, A is equal to a string banana, B is equal to a string banana, there will be two chances. Both A and B refer to a string here, may refer to a same string, or both may be pointing to a two different data. So in this particular case, this is possible. Either both referring to the same location or both will be pointing to a two different location. Since it is a string, both will be pointing to a same locations, because, and also we can check this, the same thing works in case of normal variables as well. So we just take two strings A and B with a string bit, with checking is A is B true, because both the A and B points to the same memory location. If this is id is the function to get the address of the variables. Id in the bracket, you can write the name of the variable, we get the address. Both are pointing to the same. But in case of a list, so we create a list L1 and the list L2 having the same elements. First we execute this list L1 and the list L2 is L1 is equal to L2. False, because these two lists are identical but not the same objects. So that is why it will give the result as false. So here is the things. See, in this case, we would say that two lists are equivalent, but they are not identical. These are two different objects. Two objects are identical, then they are equivalent. But if they are equivalent, they are not necessarily identical. Okay, we should be very careful with the things when we are working on the list. So what we can do, we can also do an aliasing. Instead of creating a separate, I just assign the list 1 contents into and list 2. Now both the lists are equal, so the result will be true. So any changes made on list 2 will affect on list 1, or any changes made on list 1 will affect on list 2. So when we are passing the parameter to the function, we should be very careful. If the function is doing any changes on the formal parameters, it will be reflected back on the actual parameter. Here we have changed the content of L2, so that has been reflected on L1. So with this, I'm winding up the session. For more problems, refer the slides which has been uploaded in the Google site. In the next class, we will discuss on dictionaries. Thank you.